So I'm here with Mo Williams, the founder of Such a Natural, a black-owned hair salon in Metro Detroit. How did you get into the hair business?
Such a Natural actually started me as a stylist. I started working in the Metro Detroit area about 2010, and I started with an apprenticeship doing specifically interlocking. And interlocking is a weaving technique where you're, as I stated, weaving the hairs together to either start or maintain a locks. And that's just one process. And so with having that as a introduction, for lack of a better term, from there, you know, YouTube was beginning to develop in popularity as well at the time. So I did a lot of trial and error through incorporating things that I learned through YouTube, as well as observing some of my peers in the different spaces that I worked in. So a combination of learning from different, pulling from different things, mostly self-taught aside from that interlocking apprenticeship. And then also from my youth, I was taught to braid at about 13. And from there, that kind of was a good core to have, braiding as a foundation, because it kind of did assist with, my ability to build clientele. Because even now, interlocking still isn't that popular, but people still do know more about it. But definitely back then it wasn't. So add its lack of notoriety, I should say, compared to palm rolling, and the price point, it definitely just wasn't an interest of people. So um having braiding as a foundation offered me the ability to build my clientele as I built my skill set in other ways.
That's really awesome. And it's incredible that you have this book that you've offered and published. Is the world's first ever natural hair dictionary, a new book that defines exactly what natural hair and hairstyles are. What was the inspiration behind the book?
Well, being in the natural hair industry, and as I made mention of YouTube, I've seen a lot of rising stars and influencers, as they call them, develop popularity, get brand sponsorships, and all these sorts of things. And they don't even have a background in natural hair aside from doing their own natural hair. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have a lot of companies who produce things like custards, creams, and oils, and we have a plethora of that available. But the actual information that's coming from us, and even those companies that produce natural hair products, like 90% of those people don't do natural hair. So it's really just, they may wear natural hair but they don't do it. So it's really just an option or a resource that's, excuse me, some a car is driving by, but it's a resource to offer, basically filling a void, a void where there's representation from the actual industry, and there's representation from actually um, a whole aspect of natural hair that's not been touched. Of course we have tutorials and different forums where people chime in and they give their own personal advice and different things. But there's nothing that's like one go-to, if you will. Of course, there are a lot of books out there, but even today, a lot of people are mixed up on what a mini twist is or what micro locks could be. People really just still don't know what natural hair is. So it's really to provide that information to help people delineate and identify, as well as just be more informed. And, also aside from it being a dictionary, it's inclusive of information and talking points that's really just pointing out the contravents and the inconsistencies within. There's inconsistencies in everything, but as popular as natural hair is, people don't really like natural hair. People like specific things. People like manicured natural hair, and even in that vein, they like natural hair that's a specific texture. Or if you have short natural hair, you have to have a specific skin tone to look good with natural hair. Like, it's so many caveats and exceptions to the rule that it's not really a thing. So I've taken the opportunity to speak on it from my own personal experience, because I have people that come in, day out, that are scared to wear their hair because of, their perception or them manifesting or absorbing public opinion as if it's factual or as if it's something that should rule their life. So it's a lot of talking points. It's not just a basic thing that's just pictures, a title, and details about that style. It really goes in depth about the intricacies of natural hair as a whole.
It seems like it's a big conversation around natural hair. I what comes to mind is like, the Colin Kaepernick document the series on Netflix where like, he's criticized for having natural hair. And then like, news anchors like Demetria Obelar, they've kind of like, talked about like the racism that they experience. What do you feel like, about the racism, like, for people like wearing their natural hair?
Well, race is a social construct, but we can say texturism, because you have a lot of people of European descent, if you will, for lack of a better reference, that have straight, long flowing hair, and that's never been looked at as a specific way. So it's really just a texture thing. And it really was just not his hair, so to speak. It was the whole idea around what he was doing. He was doing something completely against what they were doing, which is the kneeling. It's the whole idea of what he did, not just his hair. I think that was an added component.
Well, I was speaking specifically about like his series, like in the series, like it's a much talked about piece, like where he's asked to cut his hair for the baseball team because
Okay.
that he has his natural hair, and he was like, why do I have to cut my hair? And like, his white parents says that's the rule, you got to cut your hair. And I was
Oh, well, I mean, coming from that background where you have parents that have a different mentality, I think it could be generational, honestly, because there are people that are of color, older generations, grandmas and great grandmas that have that opinion that either your hair is straight and if your hair is not straight, it's not done. If you're a man and you got long hair, it's unacceptable. So I think it's a generational thing, but it can be, speculative that it's based on some sort of prejudice that they have against his texture compared with his ethnicity. But I don't know. It's a lot of it's left to speculation.
most definitely. You're located in Detroit. Your shop is in Grosse Pointe Park, Michigan. Can you talk a little bit about like, your shop and like where it's located and how people could reach out to you?
Well, the book is actually available on Amazon, and you can find us at naturalhairdictionary.com. The book is actually a collaboration between the naturalhairdictionary.com and Such a Natural Salon. Um, it's our first collaboration, and the naturalhairdictionary.com is actually housing and compiling a list of natural hairstylists and salons, because within our own personal experience as being a stylist in the Metro Detroit area, over the years, people have always complained that it's difficult to find natural hairstylists. And, maybe it's due to my own personal bias, but I know a lot of natural hairstylists and I know it's easy to find them. But again, that may just be my own personal bias. So I took the opportunity to compile a list and make it easy for people to have direct access to that information. As far as the salon, we're located in Grosse Pointe Park, 14950 East Jefferson Avenue, Suite 110. You can find us on Instagram or online at Such a Natural Beauty and suchanaturalbeauty.com. Again, the book is a hardcover, full color, photo dense literary composition that educates on the intricacies of natural hair and talks about the contrivance within the natural hair industry, creating talker points and, bolding for conversation around the mentality on natural hair and the lack of acceptance when it comes to natural hair.
Definitely.
I first
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I personally have been styling, as I mentioned, natural hair only. That's my background since about 2010. I went on my own to open my own space in 2017. In 27 since establishing my own place, I've been in the Grosse Pointe area since that point in time, and just taking this opportunity to expand what we're doing and create more opportunities. Once you have a physical product like a book, there's more opportunities for speaking engagements and just different. It's a different avenue.
Definitely well on your way to a TED Talk. Thank you so much for taking the time. Mo Williams, the founder of Such a Natural. I really enjoy speaking with you.
How did you? I enjoyed speaking with you too, Ryan. I appreciate the invite. How did you find out about us?
Oh, like one of my favorite sites, blacknews.com. I was reading about you
Mhm.
and like I reached out like at the bottom of the article they had like your PR information and I sent you that email. So we were able to
Okay,
make it happen. Yeah.
that's awesome. Well, do you watch Tubi at all?
Yeah, I do.
We have a commercial that's going to be airing on Tubi soon, so be on the lookout for that. And like I said, the book is available on Amazon as well as Amazon Kindle, or you can buy directly from us. And there's also a free interactive preview if anyone, wants to, before committing to purchasing, wants to check out some of the details and what the book entails. You can find that at naturalhairdictionary.com.
Most definitely. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Ryan.
Of course.